The tents were not glamorous. They were FEMA disaster tents. The food was not gourmet. It was a slice of American cheese on white bread in a styrofoam box. People had paid up to $100,000 for this, and the man who took their money was in a Manhattan penthouse, watching it all collapse on Twitter. 3 years before that morning, Billy McFarland was on the cover of magazines. He was 24 years old. He had convinced some of the most powerful investors in America to write him million-dollar checks. He had Kendall Jenner promoting his vision to 100 million people. He looked like the future. So how does a 24-year-old with no real track record convince an entire industry to believe him? And how do the rest of us, smart, careful people, keep falling for stories exactly like his? This is the story of Billy McFarland. By the end of it, you will understand something about how confidence can be faked so completely that even the people signing the checks never see it coming. Billy McFarland grew up in Millburn, New Jersey. His family was comfortable. He was not remarkable in school, but he had one gift that money cannot teach. He could make people believe in him. At 13, he was building websites for local businesses. By 19, he enrolled at Bucknell University and found it far too slow. He dropped out. He was going to build something big. He was completely certain of it. In 2013, at 21 years old, he launched a company called Magnus's. It was a matte black metal membership card targeting young professionals in New York City. For $250 a year, members received access to exclusive events, concerts, and a network of ambitious people. The product barely worked. The card simply linked to an existing bank card. Many of the promised events were borrowed, exaggerated, or fabricated. But the image was immaculate. The card looked expensive. The marketing looked expensive. McFarland himself looked expensive. Forbes profiled him. Business Insider wrote glowing features. Venture capitalists took his meetings. He raised $2 million for Magnus's, built almost entirely on a perception he had carefully constructed from almost nothing. Nobody asked the obvious question at the time. Was any of it actually real? By 2016, McFarland had a new idea: a music festival. Not just any festival, the most exclusive, immersive luxury experience ever created. He called it Fyre Festival. It would take place on a private island in the Bahamas. Tickets ranged from $500 to $12,000. Premium packages reached $100,000. Guests would stay in luxury villas, eat food from celebrity chefs, and watch headline acts perform under the Caribbean sky. To launch it, he did something unprecedented. He hired the biggest names on Instagram: Kendall Jenner, Bella Hadid, Emily Ratajkowski, and coordinated a single, simultaneous post. One cryptic orange tile. No explanation. Just the image and a date. The internet ignited overnight. Tickets sold out in rounds. Investor calls flooded in. Media ran feature stories about this revolutionary new concept in luxury travel. McFarland raised approximately $26 million across multiple investment rounds. The money arrived faster than he could spend it, so he spent it faster. He moved from an $8.00 a month Manhattan apartment into a $21.00 a month penthouse. He flew on private jets. He hired staff. He told investors the island was secured, the infrastructure was built, the acts were confirmed. He told them the company was worth far more than any document could verify. He was 24 years old and the world believed every word he said. But here is where things started to quietly fall apart. The island McFarland had chosen was not a private island. It was an active beach resort. The luxury villas did not exist. The celebrity chef contracts were not signed. The infrastructure required to host 5,000 guests in a remote location was not built, and could not be built in the time remaining. His own team knew. Island vendors knew. A crisis management consultant sent him a direct internal memo, warning that the festival was heading toward catastrophe. He kept selling tickets. Weeks before the April 2017 event, drone footage began leaking online. Hundreds of white tents, plain, flimsy, hastily erected on a muddy lot. No stages, no kitchens, no villas. Staff on the ground were panicking. Major acts were quietly pulling out. The catering operation had already collapsed. McFarland's response was to keep the Instagram campaign running. Keep the turquoise water and smiling models in circulation. Keep the reality hidden behind the image for as long as possible. What happened when the first guests actually landed would end his life as a free man. On April 27, 2017, the first attendees arrived at Great Exuma in the Bahamas. They had paid thousands of dollars. Some had paid tens of thousands. They found FEMA tents in a muddy field, soaked mattresses, and pre-packaged cheese sandwiches in styrofoam boxes. No performances, no chefs, no luxury, nothing. Videos spread across social media within hours. The gap between what had been sold and what existed was so extreme that people initially thought it was a joke. The festival was canceled the same day it opened. Thousands of guests were stranded on the island. Flights out were scarce. Luggage disappeared. People slept on the ground in the rain. Federal investigators were already moving. McFarland had used fabricated financial documents to attract investors. He had misrepresented his company's value, its assets, and its ability to deliver. He had taken $26 million from people on a promise he never had the ability, or the intention, to keep. He was arrested in June 2017. In March 2018, he pleaded guilty to wire fraud. Then he did something almost incomprehensible. While out on bail and awaiting sentencing, he launched a second fraud. He sold fake tickets to the Grammy Awards, NBA playoff games, and exclusive celebrity dinners to some of the exact same people he had already defrauded, collecting $150,000 before investigators caught him again. In October 2018, a federal judge called him a serial fraudster. She sentenced him to 6 years in federal prison. He was 26 years old. 3 patterns made this possible. All 3 appear in financial disasters far beyond this one. The first is social proof used as a weapon. When a famous face endorses something, it triggers a shortcut in the human brain. If someone successful believes in this, it must be real. McFarland did not hire influencers to inform people. He hired them to bypass skepticism entirely. The second is what researchers call the illusion of credibility. McFarland had never built a genuinely successful company, but he had been written about as if he had. Those articles became his pitch. Media coverage created investor interest. Investor interest created more media coverage. Belief built belief, until there was nothing underneath it at all. The third is the most personal. When something sounds exciting enough, the fear of missing out silences every rational question. Thousands of adults paid thousands of dollars without asking one simple thing. How does a 24-year-old actually build a luxury resort on a foreign island in 4 months? That question had one answer. He could not. McFarland was released from prison in 2022. He still owes approximately $26 million in restitution. Most victims will never see that money returned. In 2025, he announced Fyre Festival 2. He sold roughly 500 tickets before postponing it indefinitely. The brand was later put up for sale. Some people never run out of people willing to believe them. The question worth sitting with is not about Billy McFarland. It is about the part of all of us that saw that orange tile in 2016 and felt the pull, the desire for it to be real. That pull is where every financial disaster begins. If this story made you think differently about who you trust with your money, share it with someone who needs to hear it.